Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. The SNP government could be in serious trouble, having broken the law many times. Indeed, it could be facing multiple lawsuits on several fronts, and all because of its insistence that men who pretend to be women are allowed to pretend to be women and are given all the rights of women. In particular, the right to enter women's safe spaces, such as changing rooms, toilets, etc. And so the Scottish Government, Police Scotland, the Scottish Prison Service, Scottish NHS are all in the firing line for massive and multiple lawsuits. We know that Fife, which is currently going through the Peggy case, where the nurse does not want to get changed in front of a male, even though the hospital insisted that the man has the right to change in the women's changing room. And told any women that were uncomfortable with exposing themselves in front of a man to find somewhere else to change. This case is going through now, the tribunal. But if the tribunal does not find for them, there will be a lawsuit launched within minutes of the resounding, result, whatever it would be. Obviously, if they find for the women and against the doctor, Dr. Upton, Beth, as he likes to call himself, then that'll be fine. That'll be an end to it. Otherwise, boom, lawsuit in. And it isn't just this one NHS area. It's all of them. All of them allow self-identification. Now, government guidelines from the SNP government say that men who pretend to be women, who identify as women, are to be treated as women, even if they don't have a gender certificate. I would suggest that even with a gender certificate, they're still men. They just want to be called women. That's like they can call themselves anything they like, but they're still biological male, and they should not be allowed in women's safe spaces. And it isn't just toilets and changing rooms, of course. It's domestic violence refuges, rape centres, things like that. They just shouldn't be allowed in. And of course, the other thing is that generally you're going to have young girls in these places as well. And you've got to think you do not want a grown man in a space where a young girl will be vulnerable for very obvious reasons. And yet the SNP government seems to think that this is acceptable. They seem to think that your children, your girls, are particularly okay with having a man expose himself in front of them. Yes, but it's only a small lady cock, But they've now been warned formally that they risk these lawsuits because the law is very, very clear. And so these things are there. It is against the law to even give the guidance that men are allowed to go in. And certainly the law is that men are not allowed. That is the law. There is no getting around it. Just because the government don't like it, don't make it so. And that's the matter of the truth. Now, of course, this whole gender recognition thing caused the downfall of Nicola Sturgeon. Allegedly, I think it was Branchform coming down the road that forced her to run to the hills, but that's another matter. But all the other parties in Holyrood voted for it, with the exception of the Tories. And thankfully, it was stopped from becoming law by the Tory government in Westminster. Otherwise, it would have been chaos. Now, Human Rights, Equality, Human Rights and Civil Justice Committee within the SNP government has confirmed that it is illegal, but won't come out and downright say you can't. It's very, very weird. So they are actually failing in their legal obligations to protect women and girls and are therefore part of the problem. And so what you have in Scotland is a government of basically pro-rape MPs, MSPs. They want women and girls to be unsafe. They want them to be put in dangerous situations where grown men will be alone in a changing room with a young girl. That's what these people are. But it's the SNP. And we know they're all pervs, peds and predators. So it's hardly surprising that they're all up for this. Nobody standing up for the safety of children? No. How about the safety of women? No. What about men? You're all up for men's rights, aren't you? Oh yeah, men are reborn. Women? Not so much. That's official SNP policy. If you're a woman in Scotland and you vote SNP, you've got to question why. Thanks very much. Bye.